Hello everybody, this is Allie from Allie's World. As you can probably tell from the title and the thumbnail, we decided to visit the Discovery Children's Museum in Las Vegas. So here's the entrance to the Children's Museum. It is very vivid, colorful, and inviting. This place is so big. While you're in the lobby, your eyes can't help but to be drawn up to see the 3 floors of fun activities that waits ahead. So here's a lever that is connected to a car. If you take note, Mom is actually pretty smart. The further out you are on the lever, the easier it is to pull the car up. I've been to quite a few children museums, and this is the first one I've seen that has a hurricane wind tunnel. It definitely got windy. In fact, if you look closely, you'll see the wind speed actually got close to 80 miles per hour. Station, you can place a ball on a track that slopes down. If you position the ball just right, you'll be able to hit one of the chimes below. If you look really close, you'll see the ball will actually hit the very last chime. Now, out of all the children museums I've been to, I have never seen a DJ booth station before. This was definitely a treat. So for all of you dubstep fans, step right up. This is definitely the spot for you. There's these knobs that can be used to increase or slow down the pitch of a record. And there's also a button for crossfading. In the end, I crashed and burned, but overall, this was definitely one of the coolest stations. Okay, what good is it to have a DJ at a party without an awesome light show to hype up the crowd? This little station gave you the ability to get a crowd going. In fact, in a moment or so, you'll see my little brother dancing along with 2 other boys he just met doing their thing. Not sure if it counts as dancing, but hey, I do in a crowd, and that's all that counts. is what I'm calling a very simple roller coaster simulator. The idea is not to get the roller coaster stuck like this. And then, on the flip side, you also don't want the roller coaster to fly off the tracks either. Although it does look to be just a little bit of fun, assuming that the roller coaster carts actually land back on the rails in a perfect fashion, that is. Okay, let's give this one more try. Whee! Okay, that wasn't perfect, but much better. And then they have this giant scale where the goal is to balance both sides. This was a little bit tricky. As soon as I would take away or add an object, the scale would tilt all the way to one side or the other. See what I'm talking about? But in the end, I figured it all out. There it is. Needless to say, this was my very first puppet show. After the show, I was told to stay in school. I don't know, I think I might have a chance to make it to the puppet show big leagues. What do you think? If you'd like this puppet show intro, feel free to leave a comment down below to prove my critics wrong. There was also a Jacob's ladder where you can make an electric arc. It's pretty cool that the energy that's used to spin a little knob can be turned into electricity. Now only if I could charge my iPad with this thing. At this station, you get to use a sifter to screen out sand. And if you're lucky, there will be pieces of artifacts at the bottom of your sifter. I think I found anything from bits of pottery to fake turquoise and fake gold. Although this was pretty cool, I will say this. If you don't like getting sand in your shoes, you might want to pass on this one. Here's the Desert Pole. If you ask me, that's a pretty clever name for a ship that's located in Las Vegas. Disregarding the limited waterways in this area, this was a place where you can just let your imagination run wild and crazy. If you're lucky enough to get your hands on a costume, you can dress up as a pirate or a shipmate. This ship had 2 levels. On the upper deck, you could be the captain and steer the boat. Of the ship had all sorts of places where you can hide out if you wanted to play a game of tag. There's also an area that had some cannons where you could pretend to fire at any enemies that may be close by. this was actually pretty cool. There were these levers that could be used to raise or drop sections of the track. If the track was sloped down too much, the ball would pick up too much speed and would miss the basket at the end of the track. And if it was raised too much, the ball would just get stuck on the track. So you wanted just enough inclines to get the ball in the basket like this. Here's the airport. As you can see, there's an air traffic control center. If you're lucky enough to get your hands on a costume, you can even dress up as a pilot. And here's the luggage security check station. I have to say, the X-ray technology is beyond anything I've seen. I mean, really, you can even see dinosaurs on this kid's underwear. That's impressive! Coincidentally, this footage was actually recorded on a Sunday. I don't know if you're aware, but on Sundays, Las Vegas has way more people leaving the airport than those that arrive. So to see the arrival and departure screens, reflecting this was very interesting. Occupation you can take up at the Las Vegas Children's Museum is being a car mechanic. As you can see, you can change out tires. And if you look in the background, you can see somebody using a garage shopkeeper that rolls back and forth to be able to see underneath the car. There's also a checklist that can be used as you proceed to do a car inspection. Here, but if you like the idea of playing banker, there's a pretend Wells Fargo at this museum as well. And here's Eco Cafe, the smoothie shop. Here you can put on an apron and start making those delicious smoothies. But beware, none of the employees here have washed their hands. Some probably haven't washed their hands in days. Just saying, it's a drink and eat at your own risk. It was really hard to capture it with a camcorder. But the purple light you see on top of the kinetic sand is actually supposed to be topographic lines. In person, it's actually really cool. But with or without the topographic lines, just being able to play with this much kinetic sand was a real treat. But not least, here's a reading optical illusion. If needed, please hit the pause button to read this statement. You'll notice that not very many words are spelled correctly, but strangely enough, it was pretty easy to read, even for an 8-year-old. Well, folks, thank you so much for tuning in, and a special thank you for making it all the way to the end. Until next time.